Hey everybody, Gardenish. And so it is almost dark on Thanksgiving week, which is about a month late to the party for planting garlic in my area. I'm in Missouri, consider it zone 6. I am planting hardneck garlic, not softneck garlic, because hardneck garlic is better suited for colder climates, and we have a tendency to get down into single digits in the heart of our winters. We get some snow every year. We don't have a mild winter like the coast or even down south gets. So doing my hardneck garlic this year. I actually purchased this garlic on Marketplace from a gal, and I used it for my honey garlic infusion that I make every year, and I give away to family members. I sell it, that type of thing, you know, for your health benefits of when the cold and flu season comes on. That's what we use that for. But I have a ton of garlic left over because I didn't use it all, and I was planning to use it out in the garden. So we're gonna plant it today, or tonight I should say, and I'm just gonna give you a few tips and tricks on doing this that I've learned along the way. Last year, I ended up failing hardcore with my garlic because I forgot that I had put it out in my garden, and it was out there, and I pulled it up and realized too late that I was pulling it up. So this year I'm not gonna do that, and we're gonna be successful, and we have lots of garlic this year. So, all right, let's do this. Let's get out there before we lose this sun light, a little bit of light that's left. Hopefully you can see me okay during this whole video. So yeah, let's do it. This is some of my mess. Here's what the garden looks like right now. Hot Mess Express. Pulled out a bunch of zinnias and marigolds, placed them in different areas. I got all my tomato plants out over here. This here is a pile of something. I don't even know what it is. I trimmed up my rose bushes that were sticking to my skin when I was walking through. This one I didn't touch. This one I did touch. So we're gonna see what happens between the two of them if I made a huge mistake by pruning it before the cold weather hits. Hopefully I didn't mess up. We'll see. All right, let's go find this bed that we're doing this in. And I think I don't want to do it here because this spring I'm going to have my tomatoes here again because I have this trellis already here. So this is the bed I've decided to go with. This bed does okay. It did good with my beans this year, not so hot with the cucamelons, and it just gets a lot of shade in the summertime. And now that it's winter and there are no leaves on the trees, it gets a lot more sun. Even though we have less intensity and less time of sun, it will actually get more sun than this bed normally gets throughout the year. So we're gonna try and do this here. I'm going to leave this one edge clear, so I am able to plant something here that could use this trellis. But other than that, nothing else is going to go in this bed besides this garlic. Garlic does not like to be overcrowded, and it also does not like to be in competition with anything else. So we are going to plant solely garlic for the winter here, see how it does. And I will know that this box is only garlic. And I'm really excited about that. So first thing I want to do is I want to rake this bed up, get out any junk that's already here, like this old tomato plant. Go over there. These old tomato plants. Should have done this by now, just haven't. That's all gonna go to the compost because nothing I had this year was any kind of diseased or very big, bad, pest-ridden anything. Okay, these are carrots. I have carrots in here still. And I'm gonna, hold on, let me go get a spade. This is a carrot. I don't know what's gonna happen here. if it's even a carrot. It's been in here all season. It's a carrot. It's kind of a funkified carrot, but look, it is a carrot. Huh, I'm not gonna eat it. I'll give that to the chickens tomorrow. There's another little one here. Crazy. Maybe, there it is. No, just the root. So that's out. I'm gonna leave these leaves in here because these will be good compost material. So basically, you've got to remember the differences between hardneck and softneck garlic. The biggest difference is hardneck garlic has to go through a cold stratification process. That just means that the garlic has to be below 45 degrees-ish, anywhere between 40 and 50 degrees, preferably 40. It's got to be in that temperature range for at least a month. Now, a way to cheat the system and to cheat Mother Nature is you can throw your garlic in the refrigerator a couple months before you're going to plant it. And that will allow the cold stratification process to happen. If you don't do that, your garlic won't form bulbs because it needs that cold stratification process to be able to complete its life cycle and be able to form into bulbs. So you might get some green sprouting up, which are really good. I mean, the garlic greens are awesome to eat, but you won't actually have any bulbs if you don't let it go through that process. Now, softneck garlic doesn't need that process. So if you live in a warmer climated area, get softneck garlic. Otherwise, get hardneck garlic and just throw it in the refrigerator. Like, that's the biggest thing to remember. It has to go through that period of cold before you put it in the ground, before you put it in your dirt. So I think we're pretty good here. I'm just trying to smooth it out, make sure everything's half decent. This is such a lazy hodgepodge of a planting video, but the reason I'm doing it this way and doing it today is because it's, like I said, Thanksgiving week. I'm about a month late to the party, but that's okay. We've got cold temperatures coming in this week, so that's going to be perfect for this garlic. Hopefully I didn't wait too long. I don't think I did, though. I think it's going to be okay. It takes 8 to 10 months for garlic to be ready to harvest once you put it in the ground. So that's going to push us August, September-ish. Normally you want to be pulling it up earlier, but you know what? I think it's going to be okay, especially in this back corner. In the summertime, there's a lot more shade, and that means that it's going to stay a little bit cooler back here than it would out in the middle of the garden. So we'll try it. We'll see what happens. So I did that. I'm going to dump this on here and spread it out. This is just a bag of leftover garden soil that I got for free. It's all natural, and I got it for free when I picked up some marketplace items because that's what it's about. People love to give away free things if you want to take them. So she asked me if I wanted it, and I said, heck yeah, I'll take free soil. So I took it. So now let's plant our garlics. I have to find my garlic, so I'm walking around. What did I do with it? It is like almost complete. Oh, there it is. It's almost completely dark out here, just to let you all know. But this is my life. This is why I have to do this right now, because if I don't do this right now, it won't get done in time. So here we go. I have spread out all that lovely free, that didn't even make it across, all of that lovely free soil. Well, what are they calling it? They're calling it compost. I'm calling it soil because it's actually helping me raise my bed at this point. Did you know? So you know, just so you know, compost is actually an amendment. It's not considered a fertilizer. It is used to amend your soil. So don't ever think putting some compost is going to be a fertilizer year round. You're going to have to fertilize things, not just compost them. Compost just makes you have richer soil, if that makes sense. So anyway, enough about that. We're not talking about fertilizing and all that stuff. We're here to talk about garlic. This is hardneck garlic, okay? Hardneck garlic has this literal hard neck inside of it, okay? Look at how big these bulbs are. This is why I bought these garlic bulbs from this lady on Marketplace. And I thought they were kind of expensive. She was asking $5 a bulb, and I'm going, you gotta be kidding me. But then I thought to myself, for $5 a bulb, I am not only getting huge garlic bulbs here, they are also hardneck, which is right for our area. And every one of these bulbs, whatever I don't use in my honey garlic, I can use in the garden or in my kitchen, but more specifically in the garden. And I can grow one more bulb off of this clove. So right here on this half of bulb that I've got left, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 cloves. Each one of these is going to grow one of these, okay? That's a lot of garlic, guys. Let's do this. I'm excited. So one tip you need to remember, when you set garlic on your surface, like on your counter, the bottom is the root. That's your root. It stands up with the root at the bottom. That's exactly how you want to plant it. You want to plant it root side down, pointy side up, because that point is where your shoots are going to come from, and this root is what's going to grab hold of your soil and form the bulb. So here's one. You don't have to pull off all of the paper. You can if you want. You don't have to if you don't want to. Now, my only thing is I need that shovel. The only thing I'm worried about is, you saw what those carrots, at least what that one carrot looked like. I'm afraid that underneath here is so compact. So each clove that I put in, I'm gonna loosen up around it, okay? Another thing you need to think about is they like to be far apart. So you wanna plant your cloves 6 inches from each other. Some people don't want to follow that rule. Well, guess what's going to happen? Your cloves won't get so big because they're going to be competing with each other, and they may not even form if you've got too much in one area. So I'm not going to risk that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to space them out. And like I said, I'm going to leave this far side for when I do put cucamelon or something else there. I don't know if I'm going to do cucamelons. They just did not do well this year, and those things are so outrageously prolific apparently that I should have had a way better harvest than I did it. But like I said, it's all because this area back here is so shady, and in the summertime it's great if you've got cool weather crops back here, or like my broccoli. I should have put my broccoli back here, but we're not going to do that this year. All right, so I think we're loosened up here, and we're going to move this. And I'm going to go back over here. Oh yeah, that's pretty hardcore. Look at that. That's hard. That's no bueno. That's probably why my carrots didn't do so hot. But my rutabagas, I had rutabagas come out of this side over here, and they did great. So it's a plus. At least I know something did well. I think we're good. Let's call it a day over here. All right. I'm just going to put them in, because what I'm going to do, I'm going to end up getting some straw, and I'm going to cover this whole thing up with straw. That way it stays warmer. helps keep it stay warm over the winter. You definitely want to mulch it with something, whether you use straw, you can use leaves. I have leaves everywhere, but the thing that scares me about leaves is I don't want them to get all moldy and matted and end up ruining my harvest back here. So, because like I said, the sun's great back here in the winter, but if they get rained on a whole bunch, I don't want them to get all matted together, and I don't want to have to come out here every time it rains and fart around with wet leaves, because it's going to be frozen and wet and gross. So, okay, what did we say, 6 inches? All right, we're going to go, I'm left-handed. There's 6 inches, so we're going to go right here. Next one, just pulled it apart. I'm leaving the paper on it, root side down. Let me do that though. Ta-da! Like I said, cover them up. So about right here. So we're gonna get 3 in a row. I could put a 4th one, but then that means I'm not gonna be able to use that row for anything in the spring, and that would not be cool. So this one, there you go. All right, we got 3 in. I'm just gonna do that the rest of the way. I'm probably gonna have leftover garlic. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it, but look at how cool this is. So something else y'all need to know. So here's the hard neck, all right? That's why it's called hard neck, because it's got a hard neck. It's hard. I can't break that. All right, whenever you are planting garlic, look at the difference here. See this one's, it's fat. Look how skinny that is, okay? This one's fat and fat. You wanna pick your best cloves, because what'll happen, this one, it'll produce a bulb, but it's not gonna be as big as this bulb will be. So you always wanna pick your best producers, and that's gonna be your biggest cloves. So something you can do with these, if you wanna plant them in a shallow container, same way you're doing it here, you could even cut them in half, because I did this and I have these growing up on my front porch right now. Cut them in half and just have the root showing. Put that in some soil, keep them damp. You're gonna wind up with garlic, basically like garlic greenery, you know, the greens that will be growing off of this top shoot. You're gonna have garlic greens to eat when they start growing, and they taste better than regular green onion greens. So that's something I'm gonna be doing with these. I'm gonna add these to my pot that's up on my porch, because I can bring that in if I need to, if it gets too cold. But this is something you need to remember. Always go with the bigger bulbs, okay? So I'll just throw that back in my bag. This one, I'm not sure what's going on here. I don't think there's anything bad going on with this, but I don't know if you can see that. It's discolored. None of the other ones, this one's got a little bit of it. I honestly think that this was just getting older, sitting in my pantry in the warm kitchen. I think that's what was going on here. So I'm gonna plant it. We'll see what happens. I bet we get good harvest out of that. It's when they start getting mushy, because it's not mushy at all. Like, it's hard. It's hard. When they start to get mushy, that's when you don't want to put them in the soil, because that's when they're going to just turn to mush and they're not going to produce anything. And then you could possibly be introducing other bacteria to your bed, and you don't want to do that. So, okay. I need to put little markers out so I know where I'm at, but that's okay. What's that? I don't know where there it is. So that's there. I'm gonna do this so I know where that row is. That's not a bad idea, right? I know a row's there, so I can go about here. Everything is covered with soil. I'm gonna cut this out. Hold on. I'm telling you what, guys, this is probably the most unprepared freaking video you'll ever see in your whole entire life. But if you understand my pains of, oh God, and these things suck. You understand what happens when things happen in life and they are beyond your control. You just got to do what you got to do and make things work. That's what I've been doing lately. Just making it work, guys. You got to do what you got to do. Okay. Lord have mercy. Okay. I will clean this trellis off at a later date, not tonight, because that's not what I'm here to do. But I did want to clean that up just because y'all don't need to see that mess coming up when I put the straw down. All right, we're just using plain old straw, all right? There's nothing fancy with this straw. I got it from a local farmer. I know that it's healthy and safe, that it hasn't been, you know, used for anything that it shouldn't be. And this is it. I'm just going to really layer this stuff in thick and evenly, okay? Because what's gonna happen, we're gonna go through our cold stratification process, right? Since we're in Missouri, we're gonna start getting cold here. It's Thanksgiving week, which means it's gonna start happening sooner than later, kids. Hopefully I don't sound like I've been running a marathon. I got this microphone on and it's kind of embarrassing if I'm huffing and puffing, I'm sorry. So it's gonna be getting cold. I already know this. I've known this for like 2 weeks that this was gonna be coming, and I'm finally getting to it. So let's just remember that you gotta do what you can do when you can do what you gotta do, okay? I just made that up. I really did, but I don't know. I'm just gonna keep this pretty thick just because we're gonna need some insulation for these babies. Once they do start to sprout up, this straw is gonna be really easy for them to come up through. And by spring, when you see this bed, I'll either have already top dressed it again or it'll be ready for top dressing, because over the course of the season, the winter season, this straw is gonna break down. Ooh, sorry, a little dusty. Dusty action. Get rid of that junk. Anyway, so we're gonna pile it on pretty good. Basically putting a good blanket on it for the winter, and we're gonna let it go. So let's water it in. I don't even know. It's just a bunch of dusty junk. Sorry. Oh, and if you're wondering, I just realized that I didn't have my camera lens on wide for you to see everything. So, sorry. Now you get to see it all. But okay. Now we are going to depend on mostly Mother Nature at this point. We get enough rainfall and the snowfall when it happens. With the snowfall when it happens will really help out, because all that's going to do is act as like an even more insulator. And then once it starts to melt, it will water our garlic. Here, let's go into the new addition. Do you see what's going on here? Do you see this thing? Pretty cool, right? Finally got this thing put up. It is not finished yet. It's a 10 by 12 Harbor Freight greenhouse. I've had it since like April, and we finally were able to put this thing up. So this will be a whole nother video, but let's go inside here and sit down on my lonesome chair so that way I can talk to you a little bit about these garlics. Okay, let's talk about a couple of things here about this garlic situation. So cold stratification. You heard me talk about that multiple times. All that means is the bulb, the roots, whatever it is you're putting in the ground, the seed, let's go with the seed, because really those cloves are the seed of the garlic. Those seeds have to go through a cold temperature process. And if you can't make that happen naturally, like we can here in zone 6-ish in Missouri, you can take those seeds, throw them in the refrigerator. Do not freeze them. That will kill them. Put them in the refrigerator. 6 weeks, 2 months. That's a good time frame. Anywhere from 4 weeks to 8 weeks. And when you pull them out, you're going to be ready to plant them right away, because that acts as your cold stratification. We have that naturally here in Missouri, so I don't have to worry about that. So the cold stratification is going to mimic the winterization period. It's going to mimic winter. It's going to allow those seeds to prepare for the following season. Some seeds that you need to cold stratify are Rudbeckia, Columbine, just to name a couple of flowering end of things. Celery needs to be cold stratified. And there's some like dogwood trees. Those seeds need to be cold stratified before you plant them. There's a number of different flowers, perennials, and vegetables. There's not a whole lot of other vegetables that have to have it, but definitely know what it means. It means they need to go through the cold season before they start to produce. They have to have that winterization moment before they can do anything. So that's really it in a nutshell. Throw them in the refrigerator if you don't get cold seasons. Or for garlic, what the? Well, I've officially gotten too low on my battery with my phone, and now I don't have a flashlight on my phone to give you my beautiful face, which is fine. So anyway, cold stratification. That's the first thing to know that you have to have with garlic. If you don't want to do that and you don't even want to mess with it, go with the soft neck garlic. That's all you got to do. Soft neck garlic will actually last longer in your food storage area than hardneck garlic will. You get bigger cloves out of hardneck garlic, but you get less time to use them. So you kind of give and take a little, depending on, you can grow soft neck garlic anywhere. You can grow it in the cold seasons. It doesn't have to go through the cold stratification. Now, once you get it in the ground, 6 inches of space, that's the key, 4 to 6 inches. I went 6 to be safe because those are big bulbs. Always pick the best of the cloves. The better the cloves that you put in the ground, the better bulb of garlic you're gonna get. So the bigger the clove, the bigger the bulb. And then don't forget, you need to cover it up. You need to mulch it with something, because that's gonna sit out in the winter weather all winter. Snow, cold, freezing rain, sleet, whatever you might be getting, it's gonna be out there, and you wanna protect it as much as you can. So I think that's really the big basics of it. You can be extra successful and try to do a hydrogen peroxide dip. Like basically you would unclove everything in a bag, dip it in a bucket of hydrogen peroxide, just normal cosmetic, health and beauty type. I don't know what the percentage is. I'll put it on the screen. Hydrogen peroxide, and then let that soak for like 10 minutes. And then you can dip it in a fertilizer bucket and then put it in the ground. You can do that. You don't have to do that. I bet you $100. I'm not going to bet you $100, but I am guaranteeing that I'm going to get some garlic production out there, if not all production out there. So hopefully we have success with garlic this year, and I don't pull it up because I didn't know it was there. That's what happened. I started pulling it up because I saw what I thought was weeds, and I started pulling it up and it wasn't there. It wasn't, it was my garlic. I started pulling it up and it was my garlic. And then at that point I was realizing that they weren't ready to be pulled up, and I had just disturbed all of their roots, and it was a lost cause. So I didn't get garlic that year. Yeah, good luck with your garlic harvest. Hopefully you've got it in the ground already. If you don't, it's not too late. You just need to get it in now before it gets really cold in your area. I know that's it. And the later you put it in, the later you're going to harvest. 8 to 10 months. That's the normal harvest time for garlic. That's why people put it in the ground in October, you know, end of October, early November. That way they're not waiting until next middle fall like I am to harvest, but that's okay. So hopefully we get something good out of it. Hopefully you guys learned something, at least a couple things from this video. Sorry it's a mess. Like I said, life has been chaos, and yeah, hopefully yours is not quite so crazy. Happy Thanksgiving. I will see you before it, but I'm going to tell you right now, happy holidays for everything. We're going to cover it, and I will see you on the next one. All right, be safe. Thank you.